Temporarily from the studios of the Lava Flow podcast, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, June 12th, 2016. Silver is trading at $17.33 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,274 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $644. Antiwar.com reports 15 months into the conflict and with an embarrassingly large number of civilian casualties, Saudi Arabia has gotten a pass on the Yemen war to a virtually unprecedented level. It's been a lot of hard work for Saudi diplomats to threaten and coerce their way to relatively blamelessness. It's working too, at least on paper, as they forced the UN General Assembly to drop calls for an investigation into civilian deaths last year, and more recently got the UN Security Council to remove them from the blacklist of nations involved in killing children, despite all the children they have killed. The extreme levels they're willing to go to avoid criticism, however, seems to be starting to backfire, with UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon reporting that the Saudis threatened to defund programs involved in feeding children elsewhere, and that it was a painful and difficult decision to remove them, made primarily out of fear of more children dying from the lack of Saudi funding. Ban's comments got at least as much attention as the inclusion of the Saudis in the report did in the first place, and sparked a new round of condemnation from human rights groups, with many expressing concern that the Saudi success in bullying themselves off the list means other nations will do the same thing in the future. Yemen's comparative isolation and the lack of a real media presence there has meant that the Saudis were able to fly mostly under the radar on their war crimes, but in being so heavy-handed in acting against the rare public criticism they do get, they're liable to open the floodgates and bring real attention to their actions, which, given their track record in Yemen, is only going to make them look far, far worse. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the clean energy airplane Solar Impulse 2 landed in New York City early Saturday, completing its cross-country journey that began in San Francisco on April 24th. The plane, which is powered by 17,000 solar cells on its wide wings, flies at an average speed of 28 miles per hour and runs on energy stored at night, according to pilots Andre Borschberg and Bertrand Piccard. The plane had crossed the Pacific, flying nonstop from Hawaii to San Francisco before embarking on a cross-continental journey that took Solar Impulse 2 to Arizona, Oklahoma, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, before finally landing at Kennedy Airport in New York City just after 4 a.m. Saturday morning. The pilots snapped stunning photos of the nighttime New York City skyline on their way into the Big Apple, flying over the Statue of Liberty. The pilots told CBS they want to leave soon for a transatlantic flight to Europe or South America en route to completing a global circumnavigation, returning to Abu Dhabi, where they first took off in 2015.
You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerary supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.
Reuters reports Alabama House Speaker Mike Hubbard, a powerful figure in state politics, was found guilty on Friday of using his elected office along with his former post as chair of the state Republican Party for personal gain, according to local media reports. After 7 hours of deliberation, a Lee County jury found Hubbard guilty of 12 of the 23 felony ethics charges he faced, convictions that automatically removed him from office. State Attorney General Luther Strange said on the state's website, "This should send a clear message that in Alabama we hold public officials accountable for their actions." Sentencing for Hubbard is scheduled for July 8th. He faces 20 years in prison. Hubbard was indicted by a state grand jury in October 2014 on charges of using his elected office, along with his former post as chair of the state Republican Party, for personal gain. Before his indictment, Hubbard helped guide the Republicans to majorities in both houses of the state legislature in 2010 for the first time in 136 years. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.